Welcome to Connecting to Spirit with Stacey, a weekly journey into the spiritual world with Evidential Medium Stacey Niedentohl. With nearly 10 years of experience offering transformative private, group, and platform readings, Stacey is also a passionate mentor, guiding students for over 5 years to unlock their intuitive gifts. She is the author of 2 impactful books, My Head Knows, But My Heart Still Hurts, a 30-day grief recovery journal, and My Crystal Addiction Diary, an exploration of crystal and stone energy for healing. So please welcome the host of Connecting to Spirit, Stacey Niedentohl.
Hi, welcome. This is Connecting to Spirit. I'm Evidential Medium Stacey Niedentohl. I'm so glad that you are here with me on this hour on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., where we talk about your spiritual path, your spiritual journey, your healing, or just if you have curiosity about mediumship and the spiritual realm. This is a safe space where we can connect and learn not only from my experiences, but from the experiences of others that I have either trained with or spoken to or read about. And it's one of those things where I just want you to allow your energy to connect to the divine. Just, if you can invite yourself, give yourself permission to disconnect from the worries of today and just be present. Just be with us right now, today. Open your mind to all of the knowings that we all have special abilities. None of us are more special than others, but it's the abilities that you work on and you work with and you learn about and that you hone. Like, that's why we were put on this earth. So, during this hour, we're going to take a look at Archangel Michael. And if you've missed the last few episodes, we've been talking about Michael we haven't talked about Michael yet. We're going to be talking about him tonight, but we've talked about Metatron and the archangels, and we've spoken about spirit guides and spirit animals and angels. I have a lot of people who walk through my doors who will ask me about angels and guides. So I thought, let's do a series on it and just dig deep down into it and talk about it a little bit, and maybe it will strike something within you that you go, oh, I understand that makes sense. So if you missed the last few episodes, you can always re-listen to them on Spotify or YouTube, Amazon Music, and other podcasting platforms. And be sure that you like and share it with your friends. Help me build my viewership, my listenership by subscribing to the channel. So, enough with the commercials, right? So, as all angelic beings, Archangel Michael also communicates energetically. Michael is considered in the archangel realm to be like the commander in chief. He is the head of the celestial army. His name means who is like God, who protects God. Michael declares war between good and evil, always wanting good to prevail. So when you have a difficult time, when you have a difficult situation, a hard decision to make, Archangel Michael is the archangel to call in. Because what he does is he gives you guidance. He is the protector of the human race. So why wouldn't you connect with, invite in Archangel Michael to help protect and guide you? That's what he does. That's his specialty. So in writing this and thinking about what I was going to say, I wanted to talk first about the biblical standpoint of Michael. And I didn't want to misquote anything or say it incorrectly, so I'm going to read to you what Revelations 12:7-9 says. So just hang with me for a second. You'll understand where I'm going in a bit. So it says, Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But they were defeated, and they were no longer in heaven. The great dragon was hurled out, and the ancient serpent was also that had deceived the world was also thrown down into earth with his angels with him. So I want you to think about this. So in the spiritual realm, there was a fight. There was a war that broke out, and Archangel Michael and all of the archangels fought against the adversary and the dragon and all of the negative vibrations that were around. So Michael always fights good with evil, wanting good to triumphant. So here, all of the negative energies were basically thrown down to earth, right? Thrown down to earth. So I want you to think about what's going on in the world today. Literally, states are on fire. California, the Rocky Mountains, South Carolina, New York, Texas, New Jersey. There's fires everywhere. There's riots that break out from time to time. Missing children. They just disappear. Children just disappear. There's broken families. Morals have changed. There's fighting between friends and family because of political views. It's crazy to think of there being a dragon loose on the earth, but think about the representation of what the dragon signifies. So back in the mythical times, the dragon would breathe fire and destroy whatever was in its way. And then the knight would come and slay the dragon so that the royalty, the prince, the princess, whatever, could pass through. So Michael fights all of the fights that are around you. Make sense? So even from the biblical standpoint of how it's worded, and when you look at what's going on in the world today, there's a lot of similarities there. So if you feel like you're fighting against fire coming at you, and you call in Archangel Michael for guidance and a path that you can go on, and direction, and how to have inner peace, I think that would be the best frame of mind to be in, to have the protector by your side. So if you opened your mind, if we all had this thought process that if we call Archangel Michael in to protect us, to guide us, to allow good to triumph over evil, just think about the things that would end and think about the things that we would create. If we rose, our vibration would raise, and in the earthly realm, we would choose love and understanding over anger and violence. Michael can help you to do that. Being with that thought process, it's one thing thinking about it and, oh, yeah, I'll just do that. But it's another process to recognize when you feel like you're getting angry and kind of taking a deep breath and choosing love and understanding instead. That doesn't mean somebody can walk all over you, but you choose your words correctly. If someone's coming at you and talking to you in a loud voice, your instant reaction is to come back with a loud voice as well. Well, what if you took a step back, took a breath, listened to what they had to say, stood up for yourself, but in a calm manner? It would diffuse. They were looking for an argument. So it's just something I want you to think about, something I want you to ponder. If you start to feel like you're getting anxious and angry, how can I switch this? How can I switch my mindset to love and understanding? Maybe I have to disconnect ties with someone, sending them, good thoughts, and wishing them well, but maybe their energy isn't just for your energy anymore. We all have our own experience with the archangels and guides and angels. And what I can't stress strongly enough, is to trust your intuition. If you see something and you feel something, or you just know that you know, and instantly you think it's Archangel Michael, don't question it. Thank Archangel Michael for stepping in. Ask him to continue to help. You can read tons of books, and I'm an avid book reader, so read as many as you can. But understand that this is the interpretation of the author's experiences. And some of these things may work for you and some of these things may not. But think about your own experiences. Think about how you can make your life better to its fullest by using the guides and angels and archangels that are around you. If you're a person that suffers from anxiety and depression, meditating and calling Michael in, or Archangel Raphael, who is the healer, and saying, I need you to stand beside me and help me through this anxiety. And eventually, through practice, note what changes. So, in looking at what I wanted to talk to you about tonight, I looked at angelology. And yes, there is an angelology, an ology of the angels. And in looking in that, it talks about 7, right? The 7 rays of light. But before we talk about the 7 rays of light, I want you to think about the number 7. It is supposedly in the spirit world the perfect number. It is a highly spiritual number. If you continually see 7s, it's letting you know that your guides are sending you messages. It's encouraging for you to reconnect on your spiritual path and for you to honor your connection to the divine, to the spirit realm, to God, to the angels, to consciousness. There's 7 days in the week, 7 colors in the rainbow, and there are 7 rays of light. So I told you all of that just to get to the 7 rays of light. So there's 7 rays of light that have been depicted in different aspects of the divine. And each color is matched with a different shade and a different vibration to reach etherical levels. So by wearing these colors, it is said that you are bringing that physical representation of the color realm into your workspace and into your light. So, from what you can see around me, my office is pink and yellow. Where I do my meditations is orange and black. So pink, it's very cheery. Yellow, it's very sunny. But pink represents unconditional love. When people walk into my office, I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to feel loved. I want them to feel like they matter. And it also signifies balance. Yellow symbolizes intellect, creativity, and happiness. Well, this is my office. This is where I write. This is where I create for the podcast. This is where I do some readings through Zoom. This is where I pay my bills, and put the budget together. But this is my creative space where when I'm working on books, that I'm writing, or when I'm promoting things that I'm doing. Right here's where I am. And I want to be surrounded by balance and love and intellect and creativity. And it's funny, when my husband painted the office, there were similar colors that I wanted to use because of a painting my niece did for me. And I was never really much of a pink person. But when he painted this, it gave me this sense, this vibration. And then when I read to see what the colors meant, I'm like, well, holy crap. There's not a mistake. This is the way it's supposed to be. When I do readings in the room there behind the yellow door, my walls and everything is kind of oranges and browns and blacks. The walls are painted orange. I'm a Leo. Orange is my power color. It's intuitiveness, creativity, things like that. Orange symbolizes individual relationships to the external world. So I want to connect with you and with the spirit realm. And with black, that helps to promote deep meditations. So in essence, my room creates the intention that I'm setting there. I want to connect with you externally to the spirit world in deep meditation so that I can give you a message. Interesting, right? So we have to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. But we'll be right back. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in a minute.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com.
Welcome back to Connecting to Spirit. I'm Evidential Medium Stacey Niedentohl. I'm so glad you're here tonight that we're talking about Archangel Michael. If you've just joined us, you can always listen to the replay on Spotify, YouTube, or other streaming platforms that are out there. But in the last few weeks, we've been talking about angels and guides and spirit animals. And tonight we're talking about Archangel Michael. We just talked about colors and how colors can set the intention for the rooms that you're in, as well as wearing the certain colors can set the intention for your day. So the reason I talked about that is Archangel Michael is said to be the first ray of light associated with Sunday, the first day of the week. He appears in a light blue color, and he represents strength and protection and faith. Now, in reading, some authors say that Michael represents Tuesday or Wednesday. You know, if you look at the rays of light, with him being the first ray of light, it would make sense the first day of the week, Michael would represent that. But if you overthink it too much, you get lost in the meaning. Because here's the thing. Michael can command any day of the week that you need help with. You don't have to say, oh, it's not Sunday, I can't call on Michael. Oh, it's Wednesday, I have to wait. No, Michael will give you courage and confidence to face what you need when you need it on whatever day of the week it is. There are a lot of human people out there that put all these certain things that box Michael in. But calling on him, no matter what time of day it is, what day it is, he will come through to help. So I believe, like I said, Michael governs whatever day that you need it. He shows you courage and confidence. He helps to release emotional burdens that the world hands to you, and he will give you access to inner healing. So just the thought of someone, something, a being can help to release emotional burdens that the world hands to me Like I'm seeing firecrackers shooting all around me. Yay, celebrate that. And when you think about emotional burdens, they may not just be the things that are happening right now. An emotional burden can be a thought process that you have had drilled into your head since you were a kid. Maybe you were told you weren't good enough or you would never amount to anything. Maybe you had a bad relationship and then you went into a second relationship and the relationships were the same. So, because of the experiences you have had, you instantly think, I'm never going to have a good relationship. You're blocking yourself. There's this emotional burden that has been put upon you in your energy that Michael will help you with this inner strength to break that block. Doesn't that sound like a plus? It's this, your own little, I don't know, bulldozer to bulldoze through those emotions that you may feel that stop you. So, in talking about Archangel Michael, because I'm an evidential medium, because I own one part owner of Hip Gypsy Emporium, and I work with stones and crystals. Here's a real cool Fallon crystal. I thought that it would be interesting to bring in to the talk, if you use stone energies, what stones would you meditate with to call Archangel Michael in? So Shugalite would probably be my first choice. And the reason I would choose Shugalite is because it's said to be the master protector. It's the stone of spiritual wisdom. It's the stone of powerful metaphysical properties to encourage you to live bolder, courageously, to help you follow your passion and to live your truth. Hello. Isn't that what we all want? We want to live our truth, who we are. We don't want to be what we think other people want us to be. We want to live our truth. It's an excellent stone for psychic protection because it helps remove negative attachments that block your auras. Now, negative attachments aren't necessarily negative energies. Again, these are those thought processes that you have, maybe toxic people that you hang around. But when you have a trauma in your life somewhere, whether it was when you were a child, maybe you didn't have a very good childhood, maybe you were in an abusive relationship, maybe you were in a bad car accident. So, you've got this trauma from cars, but it's that fear that makes this blockage in your aura. So it also enhances your intuition through your crown chakra and through your third eye. It promotes self-love and acceptance, forgiveness, freedom, and alignment. It's like the stone that has a little bit of everything. And it's this violet to magenta color. So not only does it have all this beautiful energy, it's a beautiful stone as well, just to hold and to look at and to meditate with. And if you've never worked with stone energies, go into a local shop, Hip Gypsy Emporium in Chambersburg, or wherever, and whatever stone catches your eye, pick it up and just hold it for a minute. See if you can feel like the vibration of it. Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it bring emotions to you? Some people will pick a stone up and instantly start crying, or they'll start laughing, or they'll, oh my gosh, I can't believe how this feels. It's the energies in the stones that are made by God. Everything has this energetic vibration. So, getting off the path a little bit. So when you surround yourself in Shugalite energies, it encourages you to manifest your natural gifts. We all have natural gifts. We just have to have the courage to articulate them to the path that we feel drawn. So, it's kind of that vicious circle that goes around and around. Well, if it's a natural gift, it should come naturally to me. And why do I have to hone it if it's natural? Well, the better you work at something, the more time you put into something, the better you get at it. Just like, a guitar player, and I talk about Eddie Van Halen quite a bit. He started off playing the drums, ended up picking up the guitar, and it was almost like a prodigy, taking the guitar apart. But everywhere he went, his guitar went with him. It was a natural gift to him that he continued to critique and make better. Other stones that work well with Archangel Michael is amethyst. And amethyst encourages inner strength. Amethyst is a very soft, calming energy. If you have problems sleeping, amethyst is a great stone to meditate with before you go to bed. But if you want to if you are that type of person that gets anxious really quickly, amethyst would be a good stone, because when Michael comes in, he may come in very strong for your energy, and you may pick it up, really quick, and then all of a sudden you get anxious about it. So if you're holding an amethyst, it calms things down. It slows things down. So we have sugilite and we have amethyst. And then tanzanite. And tanzanite is considered to be the violet flame of energy that's in Archangel Michael's sword. So, there's all this talk, and when you adorn your clothes, when you think about the archangels, when you think of the royalty that was back long in ancient times, they always used gems and stone. The breastplate had stones in it, and Michael's sword has tanzanite in it, and it's very strong, but it's comforting. And then there's blue angel aura quartz. It's a very high frequency stone. It's very protective of the angelic energy that's around you that brings Archangel Michael in. So, blue, this is the color that Michael comes in. And blue represents power, protection, faith, courage, and strength. So, there are some different stones that you can work with when you meditate if you want to connect to Archangel Michael. And it's not going to be that, and it might be, I shouldn't say it's not going to be. It may take you a few times because the mind might have a hard time slowing down, but don't give up on it. Even ask Archangel Michael, help me to slow my mind down so that I can call you in, so that you and I can work together, so that you can guide me. Help guide me to guide you in. So Michael is considered to be the patron saint of the police officers, soldiers, firefighters, all of those who protect and serve, all first responders. Makes sense. Archangel Michael is the hierarchy of all of the angels. He's the commander in chief. He's the first one in. He's the fighter, the defender. So it would make sense that he would be the patron saint for firefighters and first responders and police officers. He protects justice, and sometimes you'll see him portrayed holding scales, and the scales is the balance of good and evil. So he's armed with a sword, and the sword is protection. So if you are thinking, if you are visualizing how Archangel Michael is, and so when my uncle Glenn passed, I got his Archangel Michael. And when you look at Archangel Michael in this particular one, he's got the sword, he's got the shield. You see the dragon that he slayed is down here. He's got some angels in his wings. There's I think there is the third eye is here on his sword. And then there's all these other little things that are in his uniform that he's wearing, different signs and symbols of different things. And then you've got the big cape that comes down over the wings. Okay? Sometimes you'll see Michael with scales, which represents balance in your world, in your mind, in your self reflection on yourself, to help heal yourself, to walk through things and make difficult decisions. So that's stone energy. If you are into plant medicine, there are flowers that are represented to be the flowers of Michael. They are the iris and the gladiola. Both are known as sword lilies. And if you think about how the gladiola looks and how the iris looks, it kind of looks like a shield with a sword coming through it. But it makes sense that these would be the flowers for Archangel Michael, because he is considered to be the hero, the defender of God's people. You have the sword, you have the shield. I'm going to defend you, I'm going to protect you. In the flower, plant medicine, this would be the flower that you would maybe plant around your house, or in your house, or wherever you want to make a safe space. No matter what your needs are, there is evidence that Archangel Michael is hard at work. He's a very clear communicator, and he sends relief to the mind and the spirit. And I just want you to think about sometimes if you get all stressed out about something and you just take a deep breath, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not sure why, but I feel better. Maybe that was Archangel Michael coming in and saying, I can take care of this. Have you ever had someone say to you or talk about this horrific accident that they were in and they walked away without a scratch? And when they explain what happened in the accident, they talk about either hearing someone or it felt like someone was in the vehicle with them, someone, pushed back on their chest, or no one was in the vehicle with them. But there was a guardian angel that was there with them. Michael comes to defend those and to help and protect those who need protection. So anytime that you feel like you need protection or you feel like you are protected, just say, you know what? I acknowledge it. Thank you. Keep it up. So we need to take another break, but when we get back, I'm going to talk to you about how I called Archangel Michael in and what my experiences were with Michael. So be sure and like and share this episode with all your friends, and stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com.
Welcome back to Connecting to Spirit. I'm Evidential Medium Stacey Niedentohl, and we've been talking about Archangel Michael. And right before the break, I told you I was going to tell you about my experience of how I called Archangel Michael in. And I know I kept you in suspense there during the break, but let's get to it. We'll just kind of talk a little bit about this. So I started working with Archangel Michael probably about, 8 years ago, because connecting with the spiritual realm in the beginning scared me a little bit. So I thought I needed to have someone to protect me. I needed to feel as if I was protected from whatever things might come in. Having said that, this old girl is a very visual person. So for me just to say, oh, I need Archangel Michael to come in and expect whatever to show up in my mind in the beginning, it wasn't happening. So I needed to bring something in a meditation that I could connect to Archangel Michael. So as I was meditating and visualizing Archangel Michael, I visualized John Travolta in the overcoat coming dancing in. The coat comes off, the wings go out, and he's bringing me chocolate chip cookies. So for those of you who don't know or are too young, John Travolta played the character of Archangel Michael in the movie Michael. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. But all of a sudden, because of my muscle memory, I could visualize Archangel Michael because of something that resonated with me, of a memory that I had. And it made me smile and it made me go, oh, okay. I can really see this. I can understand. I have to see something in my mind in order to act upon it. So with being able to bring in my memory of what Michael looked like in the movie Michael helped me. And it would get me to the point where it would make me smile and not want to throat punch someone because let's face it, I have a dancing man bringing me chocolate chip cookies. What more can you do for a girl, right? And like I said, that was about 8 or 9 years ago. And now, literally, if I get bunched up, when I pay attention, I can literally smell chocolate chip cookies. And what that lets me know is Michael is tapping me on the shoulder saying, you are very well protected. You are not alone. And don't worry about this. I got you. Okay. So it lets me know I'm protected. Fun, right? So when I look at the spirit realm, to me, it's your vibration. So yes, it's a serious thing, but to me, it also has to make you smile and make you happy and make you be able to visualize what's going on. So another experience that I had, so that was how I called Archangel Michael in. How I knew that Michael was helping me. A couple years ago, I was getting ready for a reading. And before you come in for a reading with me, I meditate on your name, whether it's your first and your last or just your first name. Some of my clients don't give me their name, so I say I need to connect to the angels and the guides for the 3 o'clock appointment that's coming in. They know who it is. I don't need to know who it is. So I call my guides in and their guides in and ask for a message, and I pull an animal, spirit animal card on them. So while I'm doing this, and I'm meditating and I'm sitting back in my big chair, all of a sudden in my third eye was like this rectangle that was like coming into my third eye. And in this rectangle is this almost like a grayscale, black and white, and it's an ocean and it's waves. And when the waves first started, they were, pretty rough, but not super rough. But all of a sudden, it felt like the waves were getting angry. And they were in this triangle, but they were splashing through. It would have been cool had the water been splashing on me, but maybe that's for another time. And as these waves are coming, I see these eyes, these again black and white, and it's almost like it was drawn that are coming through the waves. And there's this scowl in these eyes. And I'm in this meditation and I'm thinking, well, that's new. What's that have to do with? What are you trying to tell me? What are we doing here? So I got to the point where I even felt as if I was being pushed back into my chair away from what I was visualizing. And I remember saying out loud, what are you trying to tell me? And instantly I thought, I bet I'm not supposed to do this reading for some reason. And So I got to the point where I was like, all right, Michael, here's the deal. If I am not supposed to do this reading, I need you to do two things for me. First of all, give me a sign so unbelievable that I cannot miss it. And second of all, have the person not show up. Now, for me, you prepay your appointments. If you don't show up, you lose your appointment. Unless, of course, you're sick or there's the circumstances. But if you just don't show up, anyway, that's beside the point. So as I'm breathing this in and I'm asking for this sign, and I'm in the room behind the yellow door, I had the door open. And at that time, I had over here underneath the window, I had a table and I had my candles lit. And when I asked for this sign that I could not miss, my candle exploded. And I was like, oh, what's that all about? So I got up and I'm cleaning up the candle, because there's little sparks all over. Like I had this scarf laying over it. And I'm cleaning up the glass and I'm, putting out the little sparks because we don't need a fire. And I'm thinking a couple things to myself. First of all, I'm thinking, well, that was dramatic. But I did ask for a sign that I could not miss. Second thing I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's taking me so long to clean this up. When this person shows up, I'm not going to be ready. I'm not going to be connected because I've had this happen. And then third, I thought, you know what? I should probably go tell my husband, Jeff, what happened so that he could be not really on high alert, but if something unusual that he hears or whatever. So I went in and I'm telling Jeff about this, and instantly he goes, I'm sitting outside. You're not even going to see this person. They're not even coming in. I'm like, no, 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 no. First of all, I'm protected. Second of all, I ask for two signs. I ask for a sign that I could not miss, which I got. And the second sign that I asked for was for this client not to show up. So 5 minutes after the appointment, 10 minutes after their appointment time, 15 minutes after the appointment time. If you're not here within 15 minutes, your appointment's over because I have appointments back to back normally. So the client didn't show. So for whatever reason, I was not to do that reading. Whether the client wasn't ready for the reading, whether spirit wasn't ready to have the conversation with them, whether the energy that was around this client was not for me to connect with. I don't know. I don't need to know. All I know is I was protected. Now, a couple weeks later, I did get a phone call from the client saying, oh, we've got this reading tomorrow, but I need to change it. And remembering to listen to what my guidance says, I paused for a moment and very politely I said, your reading was 2 weeks ago at such and such a time. I'm sorry that you missed it. For some reason, I don't feel like I'm the medium for you. And there's a lot of great mediums out there, and I wish you well. And I've never heard from this client since. I was protected, and I don't need to know why. Yes, my curiosity is like, what happened? What was what was the funk about that? What was the juju? But I didn't need to know. All I needed to know was I was protected. And I can honestly say to you, to that extent, I have never had that type of thing happen again, to that extent. However, I was at a restaurant in Maryland after a reading a couple years ago. And when I go to Maryland, my go-to person is Denise. She helps me in my readings and my bookings, and she protects my energy, and she promotes me, and she's my go-to person. So we go to a restaurant after a reading, and we're sitting there, and how we're sitting, I have my back to the wall, but there are two gentlemen behind us, and they're talking in this, I don't know if it was like a Russian or a German dialect, but it was beautiful. I mean, and I'm like, I'm listening really close. I don't know what they're saying, But just the way they're talking back and forth was beautiful. And my left ear, and I know this may sound weird, this is where my guides come. This is where I hear from them. So here I am kind of tuned into what's going on back here. And I hear very plainly, leave. And I kind of looked around and maybe I looked confused because I remember Denise going, what's the matter? And I'm thinking, nothing. And we continue to eat and we're chit-chatting and I'm listening. And I hear again, leave now. And I pause and I'm like, and again, Denise asked, and I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. So as we're sitting there, and this was all happening, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes passed between all three leaves. So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, my chair pushes forward, and I hear, leave now. And it was very stern and to the point. And I started picking my stuff up, and Denise is like, what's the matter? I'm like, I don't know, but for some reason, we got to go. And we went outside and we got in the car and, she's like, what the heck was that? And I'm like, I don't know. And I explained to her what happened. No idea. However, the next day or 2 days later, I was reading the news, of course, of that restaurant in the area just to see if something happened. Well, there was a woman that was in there whose pocketbook got stolen. So here we go. Here was the reason why I was told to leave. Archangel Michael keeps me safe while I'm traveling. I literally will say, if I know I'm going on a busy highway, don't let me get into an accident. Don't let me get into a traffic jam. And more than once, I get off right before an exit, before there's a traffic jam. Put it to the test. Ask Archangel Michael to come in and be with you, and he will, to guard and protect you, to guide you into what you need to do. Ask him for a good parking space when it's raining. See what happens. Oh my gosh, thank you for the parking space. When you need it, Archangel Michael will be there. All you have to do is invite and ask. And when we get back, we're just going to talk a little bit about meditating and how to bring Archangel Michael in. So stay with us for more talks about Archangel Michael. We'll be right back.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to Connecting to Spirit. I'm Evidential Medium Stacey Niedentohl, and we're talking about Archangel Michael. So before the break, we were talking about how to invite Archangel Michael in. Like we've discussed before, I feel as if, we are kind of in this classroom and we are trying to figure out a solution. And Michael, or your guides, is the teacher that's roaming around in the room, waiting for you to raise your hand and say, hey, I need some help. And then they offer direction. You have a choice to either trust it and do it or figure it out yourself. So I want to talk a little bit about inviting Archangel Michael in. It is as easy as saying, I need you to come and walk with me, Archangel Michael, for my higher good, for the higher good of those that are around you, around me. You want to say what you feel to connect. You want to visualize what you feel is there. So maybe you visualize a blue light. Maybe you visualize John Travolta. Maybe you don't visualize anything at all. You just sense that that Michael's presence is with you. And just kind of as an example, and again, there's no special words, but you want to just kind of close your eyes and connect with your breath. Release the worries of the day. You're breathing in love. You're breathing out stress of the day. And maybe say something like, I invite Archangel Michael into my energy. I ask that you help guide and protect me as I walk this path of life. I ask that you place the right people in my path that can help me, and those that I can also help and be of service to in the world around me. I ask for guidance and courage so that I can be the best version of myself. Help me to navigate the difficult times so that I can see the beauty in everything. Then you take a deep breath, and you've set the invitation for Archangel Michael to come in and to walk side by side with you. And what I suggest to all my students is when you do something like that, get your aha journal and note what you felt, what you saw, what came to you. And then for the next couple of days, just put your awareness, your Archangel Michael antenna up, and just when something out of the ordinary happens, like, oh, I'm running late for work, I need a parking place right up front, and there's a parking space. Or you always hit all the red lights and all of a sudden you hit all the green lights. And you start to work with Archangel Michael and you acknowledge that you are protected. And I say that to my husband all the time when he goes on a fishing trip or whatever, and I'm here, and he doesn't like to leave me alone because, hey, the way the world is today. And I say to him, I am protected. Nothing is going to happen to me. It's okay. And I ask Archangel Michael to protect my husband and allow him to release the anxiety that he has because he needs to go with his buddies and have a good time. So use whatever words that you need to use for the situation that you're in and know that they will be the right words. And then when you notice that something has happened, I saw that. Thank you. Keep sending this information to me. Keep showing me. Keep showing up. Tell me what I need to do. Show me my path. And if I miss it, show me again. So this is my experience with Archangel Michael. I know that a lot of people have their own experiences with the angels and with the guides, and I would love to hear about it. Send me an email at conectingtospiritwithstacey@gmail.com. Maybe in the subject line, put Archangel Michael experience or, spirit animal experience. I would love to hear about it. And if there's a topic or a subject that you want me to talk about, drop me a line. I'll read them and I will try and get back to you. Okay? It may not be right away, but I will answer each and every email that gets sent to me. So I'm so glad that you have been with me through these episodes. And next week, we're going to talk about, I'm thinking Archangel Raphael. He's the healer. And if you are an empath, if you work in the healing capacity, if your feelings get hurt easily, if you have suffered a trauma that you're trying to work through, this is the episode that you want to listen to when we talk about who Archangel Raphael is, what his duties are, and what he can do to help you heal. And if you are a healer, how to heal the healer. Interesting, right? So This has been an interesting conversation. I work with Archangel Michael all the time. And even when I go to psychic fairs or I have my aura read, people always say, "Oh my gosh, I see so much blue around you with a little bit of green." Well, the so much blue is Archangel Michael, and the little bit of green, that's Raphael. And when I'm doing a reading or a healing session, it gets reversed. There's so much green and a little bit of blue. So I hope you've enjoyed sitting down and talking about Archangel Michael. He truly can give you that inner confidence within yourself to not be afraid to be who you are and not to be afraid to hone in on what your natural abilities are. When you're working in a spiritual path and spiritual growth, sometimes you come up against some opposition in your family and friends. Archangel Michael will help to give you the confidence to say, here's what I'm doing. I'm healing me, and I'm helping to heal the world one person at a time. Pretty beautiful, right? So I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope you will tune in next week when we talk about Archangel Raphael. And as always, I always pray that you live the life you love and you love the life you live. If not, you're the only one that can change it. And maybe this change needs to be calling Archangel Michael in to help you have inner confidence, to know that you are worthy of living the life that you love. I will see you next week on Bold Brave Media, Spotify, Amazon Music, and I think it's like 20 other podcasting streaming platforms. But I will see you here next week on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be here and we'll talk about Archangel Raphael. I hope you have a great and wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
This has been Connecting to Spirit with Stacey. Tune in each week as Stacey delves into the journey of life, healing, and spiritual connection, inviting listeners to open their hearts, clear their minds, and create the life they love. Right here, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network, powered by B2 Studios.